for people who might not remember, but you are on the first season of The Traitors, which is so iconic. It featured, though, it was half civilians and half reality TV, right?
Yeah.
How was it? How was it being on The Traitors for the first season? Tell me about it.
Okay, so here's the deal. Like, I love reality TV. I applied for Survivor, and I still apply for Survivor every single year for as long as I can remember.
Wow.
And I did fairly well in the casting process a few years ago. And so after I got cut, I started following the casting team.
Oh.
And like, if someone would like the lady who was my casting producer that I was working with, whenever she would tag somebody on Instagram or Twitter or something, I would go follow that person. And then when they would tag
Mm.
someone, I would follow that person. And it led me to a lady named Jazzy Collins, and she posted about this show called The Traitors. And I'm like, you know what? I'm dead set on Survivor, but this sounds so fun. And so I applied for it, and literally the same day, that very evening, I get a text message from Meg Malley from Big Brother 17, and she's
Stop.
like, "Yeah, for real." And she's like, "Hey, my name is Meg Malley, and yada 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 about Traitors." And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Who did you say you were? Like, did you say Meg Malley from Big
Yeah,
Brother?" And
first.
she's like, "Yeah," and she's like, "That was a long time ago. We're talking about Traitors." And I'm like, uh, the answer is yes. Whatever you're asking, the answer is yes. Like, Meg Malley, like, can we talk on the phone, please? And so, yeah, so we just kind of went from there. And I was so super excited. Like, I applied very late in the game. Like, I applied at the very end of January. And so my casting interviews was like every week. I had one for every week for about a month. And then I got the call toward the end of March that I made it on. And so next thing I know, I was in Scotland. But yeah, it was so surreal. And then I get out there, and they don't take our phone immediately in sequester. They took it like, I don't know, like that evening, that night, whenever
Oh,
I got to
wow.
sequester. So I still had my phone for a little bit, but obviously it was a brand new show, one
Mm.
person, you know what I mean? So we didn't know anybody. It wasn't like, so they took it that evening, but I was trying to Google the show, and it had just came out that Alan was the host. And
Okay.
so I was Googling a little bit about it, and I saw that there would be 10 reality stars returning. And I'm like, holy crap. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And they come and they take my phone. I'm like, no, literally like 30 seconds ago, I just found out something about this show. You can't take
Ah,
it right now. I'm trying to investigate. But yeah, so I knew there was going to be reality stars, but I didn't know like the extent of Sari and Rachel,
yeah.
but it was so fun. I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was so fun watching you and watching you be a fan and seeing them and it was so surreal because it's wild. I can't imagine. Just I'm a huge fan of them, so I can't imagine
Yeah.
just being like, "Oh, wow, I'm playing this game with them."
Yeah, and it was funny because like when we first got there, we were on like the setting where we first met each other. There
Mm.
was like assigned seating in that area, like when we first got out to like get mic'd up and stuff. And I was looking at everyone's name tag, trying to see who was who, and I was the first one there. Like no one had gotten to the room yet. Like I was walked in, and I'm looking, and I see Sari, and I'm like. I only know one Sari, and then I look and I see one that says Rachel, and I'm like, this has to be Rachel Riley, but this is Sari and Rachel together is too iconic. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, here's a Stephanie. I don't know a Stephanie because Stephanie hadn't been on reality TV in a long time.
Mhm.
It had been like 10 years. So she wasn't at the forefront of my mind. And so I knew the gamers, and I saw Cody's name, and I'm like, But I was super excited though when I saw Sari and Rachel's name tag, and then I see them, and it was like, I couldn't even speak. It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah, I imagine. Oh my gosh. So I'm assuming are watching this current season, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You have some really unhinged thoughts, but also very welcoming because it's pretty true. What do you think of this whole season? Tell me your whole thoughts on like the general season
Okay,
4.
so here's my thing, and this is the same with any reality show, not just Traders. And obviously, there's a lot that we don't know,
Right.
but like, is the cast as exciting as some of the other seasons? No. As a whole, no, they're not. There are some strong people. Like I loved Portia. Like I don't watch the Housewives. I just know them from Traitors. And so
Yeah.
episode one, when I saw Portia, I'm like, I love this girl. Like when she told Maura, "Fix your face." Like I'm like, ugh, I love her. And then she goes home. Obviously, as a
Mhm.
Survivor fan, I loved Rob Cesternino. Goes home. Ian, Big Brother fan, goes home. Tiffany goes home. So like all of my favorites were going home early. So I don't have any type of pre-existing knowledge of anyone else here except for Steven from Laguna Beach because I'm a millennial, obviously. And so I'm learning to know and love these people as we go along in the show. But unfortunately, the worst part about Traders is usually big characters go home early. We see it every season. This is no different. And so a lot of the people I'm just kind of left trying to figure out who they are. And so, but like I said, with any reality show, not just Traders, you have to understand that production is making a story. You know what I mean? Like, um, we talked about it in the reunion of season one. Like Rachel was talking about why she didn't publicly target Cody, and it's like, well, I did, but it never came across. And the reason for that is if it never came to fruition, there's no reason for them to air it. Like I remember last season, there was all this talk about why isn't Carolyn saying this at the round table? She probably did, but at the end of the day, she went home. So it didn't make a hill of beans difference in the edit because if they showed it or not, she still would have went home. And so I think that's the one thing that viewers forget. And that's, I guess, like an advantage that I have of being on the show is you realize that if you don't tie into the storyline, a lot of the times you won't be seen. And so unfortunately with Traitors, if you're a big character and you're tying into the storyline, there's a lot of suspicion on you right away, so you may go home early. And so yeah, I think that's probably the case with a lot of the people who's left in the game is they just weren't the ones calling the shots. They weren't the ones reining everything in and making a decision on who goes home and who stays. And so we just didn't see them, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I still love the show and I think it's great. I think the cast is, like last night's episode, I'm not sure if you watched yet, but
I did.
Tara and Johnny came alive for me and I was
Yeah.
so excited. I'm like, yes. Like, I wish we would have got to see that friendship blossom a little earlier on,
Mhm.
because it would have been more exciting for me now. But again, like I said, I mean, we saw Lisa earlier on, so you can't really complain about that. So it's been great, and Lisa and Candace are gone. I feel like there's new players starting to bloom in the later part of the show, and I'm excited to see who they are and where they go and how it ends. So
Yeah. So we'll get into last night's episode, but I wanted to ask, what do you think of the trader picks, like the original trader picks, including the secret trader?
okay, so I love the fact that they didn't have a gamer. Because
Okay.
I feel like the show has, I don't want to say become predictable, but like in season one, we didn't have a blueprint. We had nothing to go by. And so it's very easy to watch at home or to say something like, oh, everybody knows Cerie's like a crazy gamer. Of course it's going to be Cerie. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to sit back and look and say things like that. But we didn't know what they were going for. We didn't know that a gamer was in season one. We didn't know that they had two gamers in season two. We didn't know that they had a gamer in season three, or three gamers in season three. Like we didn't know a pattern yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so coming in to season four, all you have to go by is the past, the history of the show, and trying to look for a pattern. And it was kind of like the show's evolving, and it was like a breath of fresh air for me. Like I said, the Housewives for me, I don't watch Housewives outside of Traders. I don't know who any of them are, and
Me
I'm going to
either.
be honest with you. A lot of the Housewives, I don't want to say anything negative about them because again, it's an edited television show and we don't know like exactly what they do. But if I'm watching a show and I see a character, we'll say Cherie, is that her name, Cherie, for example, from last season, I don't remember a whole lot about her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but then I see people like Phaedra, and I'm like, I love her. But then I see people like Candace and Lisa. Um, as opposed to someone like Caroline. And I'm like, so I do think they picked the right housewives. I do,
Yeah.
they brought the ones that brought the drama. And I don't know, I loved it. I loved the Traitors picks. Rob is a breath of fresh air because he's not someone that you would think would be like this master manipulator.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of people right now in the media are saying, "Oh, he's the best traitor," and there's kind of like a hot debate between him and Suri.
Hmm.
Well, like I said, Suri didn't have a blueprint, and that's also not a very fair assessment because Suri has had a blueprint, and people do know her game in Survivor and Big Brother, and she continuously made it very far. So that's not to say that she wouldn't have succeeded and just dominated, even if we did know. Um, but everybody knows Rob's. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
going in knows this time around, and he still just has the wool over their eyes. And I love it. I'm rooting for him. I hope he takes it all.
Oh yeah, me too. He's playing a really good game. Yeah, what did you think about Alan saying that he's the best trader and of all four seasons? And Suri, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't Suri. He is the
Danielle.
best trader of all four seasons, and Danielle is the
Yes.
worst of all four seasons. What did you think about that?
So here's my thoughts on comments like the worst. Um, when I watch a reality show, I want to be entertained. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how strategic you are. I don't care if you play a flawless game. We'll talk about Survivor, for example. Watching Token Teams, for example, I had people like Coach and people like Tyson, and then I had people like JT. You know what I mean? They were all great characters. JT played a flawless game, but I would rather watch Tyson and Coach. You know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
because they're messy, they're chaotic, they're entertaining. There's no sleeping on those guys. You know what I mean? And so I think with Danielle, there's no sleeping on Danielle. You can say she's messy. You can say she's bad at the game all you want to. Oddly enough, I will throw this out there. She has made it further than any other trader besides Suri, who won. I think her and Christian are tied. I think season one had 10 episodes and he was episode nine. So season three had 11 and she was episode 10. So factoring that in, her and Christian, who coincidentally get the reputation for being the two worst, have made it the furthest. So were they really that bad? I don't know. I would think it's arguable, but they were definitely entertaining, and that is not up for debate. She was high quality entertainment. I would rather watch her than other folks. Like I love Danielle, love her.
Yeah, I agree. And some people I saw comments, people are like, did they forget about Dan? I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, poor Dan. I love Dan too. But I don't know if he was so entertaining as just not that great, but
Yeah, and that's another thing I'll comment on that as well. Like that's another thing. Like you watch these people on Big Brother and you watch these people on Survivor, but it's like a whole different element. It's a
Mhm.
whole different game, and it's like you want to have a little bit of suspicion on you to avoid a murder, but you don't want to have so much suspicion on you that you can't survive a banishment. And so it's kind of like you're teeter tottering right there in the middle. And then
Yeah.
it's like, with Dan and Parvati, for example, they had Phaedra, they had Tamra, they had Cherie, they had all these Bravo libs. Well, you're eventually going to have to get rid of them. You know what I mean? And Phaedra is a big personality and she's not murdering her people. She's not going against them. So you have to take risks. I remember in season one, he used to have this little thing that he would say all the time: big moves make big money. And so it's kind of like for Dan, big moves make big money. Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. So, even that, I don't want to fault Dan for that. I mean, he was a little quieter, more reserved than what he was in Big Brother. But you got to go for it. I
Mhm.
applaud him for at least going for it. He didn't stay quiet and ride coattails.
What did you think of the latest episode and the fact that Eric took Rob's offer to become a traitor? Did you think that he was going to?
I did. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, like if you're faced with traitor or go home, everyone's going to take it. Surely no one's going to turn that down. And which I'm glad that they do give him that ultimatum because I'll be honest with you, I really hoped that Pilot Pete would have took it in season two, but he wasn't given the ultimatum; he was given the option.
Right.
So we saw, was it Brittany? She was given the ultimatum,
Yep.
and then Kate gave someone, or Phaedra gave Kate the ultimatum,
Yes.
and so we saw the ultimatum come later, and I like the ultimatum a lot better than the
Mhm.
option. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I did think he would take it. Listen, poor little Eric, he's getting a bad rep online with his ears and
Oh,
his eyes and oh Jesus. But he's another one that's coming alive for me. You know what I mean? I didn't
yeah.
see much of him in the first part of the season, and like I said, that's okay because we have 20 to 24 contestants. Not everyone is star of the show. Some people are supporting actors. You know what I mean? Like those Emmys go to the supporting actors too. They don't just go to the star of the show, and they're coming alive. You know, and so I'm excited to see Eric because he has some funny moments. Like I really
Mhm.
like him.
Yeah, it showcased him well this episode.
Yeah.
What do you think about their choice to murder Dorinda?
From Rob's standpoint, I thought it was great. I'm going to be
Okay.
honest with you, and it's very easy again for me to sit here and say I would have done this, I would have done this, and me go home
Right.
episode 4 in season 1. So it's but I'm on this side of the TV this time. I can say what I want to say. Um,
Exactly.
I feel like if I was Rob, I probably would have gone for Kristen because she
Okay.
had the shield and he was in her group. So that would have solidified there's no way Rob would have murdered me because he knew I couldn't go home. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel like if I was him, I would have gone for Kristen just had a wasted throwaway to use. That way it would take the suspicion off me because then everybody could say, well, it definitely wasn't Rob and it definitely wasn't, I can't remember who else now, because they were in that room with Kristen, you know?
Yeah.
Mark, it was Mark in the room with Kristen, I believe. So I feel like that would have saved him. So I would have done that move, but I do think Dorinda was great. We saw Kristen make the comment, that was your wifey. So I don't think that would put any
Hmm.
suspicion on him.
Yeah, I know that comment got me. I was like, oh, well.
Yeah.
What did you think about the mission and just I like the whole concept of it, but the boxes, were they that noisy? I'm like so
um,
confused.
Listen, I want to be honest with you. A lot of people will always ask me about stuff like little tiny things, something like that. I'll be honest with you, I don't really remember a lot of that stuff. I don't remember the
Hmm.
small details. I was so in like such a panic at all times. I can't really remember a lot of behind the scenes tea. I really don't. I would say, I mean, even if the boxes weren't noisy, I think I saw Kelly Wentworth from Survivor. She did maybe as a story or a TikTok, she was
Okay.
talking about how she felt that it was audio added later. Even if that were to be the case for the dramatic effect, which all reality shows and all TV shows, they obviously add stuff for dramatic effect.
Of course.
Even if that were the case, I feel like I'm a klutz. You know what I mean? I would have been like
Right?
banging my elbow or stepping down too hard or tripping.
Yeah.
Like I would have been making noise. Like I would not
Yeah.
have been quiet regardless. So I'm also I can't hear very well either out of my left ear. So when people
Same.
whisper to me,
Same.
I'm like, what are you saying? You gotta talk louder, bro. And so I would have been out that they would have knew it was me in a heartbeat. So
That's so funny. I literally say that all the time. I can't hear out of like one of my ears. My doctor's like, "You're fine." I'm like, "I can't hear." I don't understand. Um but anyways, so Kristen at the end of the episode to kind of jump ahead, but she was a little suspect on Eric. Do you think that Eric's going to be all right? Rob might help him or throw him under the bus. What do you think will happen?
well, here's the deal with Kristen, and
Hmm.
I like Kristen. By the way, I think Kristen is beautiful. By the way, like Kristen is like drop
Yes,
dead gorgeous.
I agree.
But like the thing with Kristen is she's voiced. I love the fact that she's not afraid to voice her opinion. I
Mhm.
love that about her. But she's voiced her opinion a lot, and she's been wrong every time. You know what I mean? And she's also not targeted any of those people that she had brought up, previously. And so I don't know if that is going to be too much of a problem for Eric just because she doesn't appear to have influence, or we've not seen it yet, rather. And she's notoriously wrong. Like
Yeah.
every time she's wrong, week after week she's wrong, and so she's very loud about being wrong. Kind of like Quentin from season 1. He's very in your face wrong, very matter of fact wrong, but she never does anything with her suspicion anyway. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm curious to see either she's about to come alive or he's about to get ruthless. I can't wait. Either way, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I am too. They're filming the reunion right now. What do you think
I
about
know.
that? You you think
Listen,
it's gonna be real messy?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like,
Tell
I
me.
feel like a lot of shows, and again, I'm a reality show fanatic, so I know
Mhm.
how these things work. Obviously, like we know that you can't discuss some things. You know what I mean? Like some things are left for the magic of television and left for the surprise. It's like some things are not meant to be discussed. But this cast is
I know.
messy. They will go on podcasts and on Twitter and they will talk about each other and they'll be like, well, this actually happened. And I'm like, did you not sign anything? Like, what is going on? So I'm very excited to see it because they are either going to be very disappointing or it's going to be very explosive because Ron has trash talked Dorinda everything he's done. And like,
I know.
listen, Michael Rappaport, I know there's a lot of things going on with him. I don't really look to that stuff when I watch reality TV. I don't look for a reality TV contestant to be my moral standard. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Mhm.
care who you vote for. I don't care what your views are. I don't care what your beliefs are. I don't care if you're agnostic, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim. None of that stuff amounts to a hill of beans. When I'm watching reality shows, especially, I want to be entertained. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to enjoy what I'm watching. And Michael Rappaport brought the fire every single episode he was in. He
Yeah.
was not afraid. He was very abrasive. He was loud. He was in your face. He was aggressive. There was no shortage of drama. So I'm very, very excited to see him at the reunion because I know he'll bring it. I know there's a lot going back and forth right now online between Candace and Rob. She
Hmm.
even talked about it preseason, how she couldn't wait to let somebody have it at the reunion. So I'm very excited to see Candace and Rob, all things Michael, Lisa and Colton, Ron and Dorinda. I'm excited to see this reunion. They better bring it because they've hyped me up, brother. They have
Yeah.
hyped me up.
I mean, and if they don't, at least go on another podcast like soon after.
Yeah, for
so
real. Like
so
call
we
them up,
can
get them on here, be like, okay, what's the tea, Ron? Because Ron
actually
will
really
spill
what
it.
happened. No. Oh my gosh. So say you're on this cast as a faithful. Who would you be working with and who would you not really want to work with?
You know what? I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Um, I don't know. I don't like realistically. Okay, well let me answer it. As a fan watching at home and seeing the edit and seeing all the stuff, like you got to think, like even during the missions, they're split up like five people on one team, five people. Those other five people have no idea what's going on here. They don't see what we see. They don't see none of that. So it's very easy for us viewers at home to say, I would work with Tara and Johnny. You know what I mean? But being in the moment, I don't see Tara and Johnny hugged up in the billiard room. You know what I
True.
mean? Like you don't see that stuff. So it's very hard to say. So I'll say this realistically. I probably would just be a lost ball in high weeds like I was on season one, like completely outcast to myself, like scared to death to speak to anybody and just going into the round table ready to fight every time, hoping for the best. But like, I don't know. It's hard to say. But from a viewer standpoint at home, um, I would have, if I was on this cast initially, I would have loved to have worked with Portia as a viewer from
Yeah.
home. I'm telling you, I loved her. I
Yeah.
loved her. Like there needs to be a second chance season. There's all kinds of people online talking about Johnny Bananas coming back. Dorinda can't bring Portia
Right.
back. Portia's the one I want, baby. She was so like I loved her. I will sing her praises until the cows come home. I loved Portia.
Are you going to start watching Housewives now or at least her season?
Listen, listen, I have researched her snippets and everything on
Yeah.
YouTube, Oh my gosh. Like, who said that? Like, I love her. And like I was watching today Dorinda when she's like, I cooked, I cleaned, I made it nice. And I'm like, why have I never watched these shows before? Like, I love these women. Like, I don't know. And
Same.
like even Cherie, I was watching some of her clips and I'm like, she is so fun on Housewives. So it's not like a dig at casting or anything, because I mean, obviously they bring the heat on their other show. And I think
Yeah.
that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Production always has a storyline too. So you may
Mhm.
be fun and entertaining, but if that entertainment doesn't tie into why someone goes home episode four, there's really not enough time in the day for us to show that in episode one, So it is what it is, unfortunately.
Right, right. So I know you're a Big Brother fan. Obviously,
Yes,
we met for the first time on the first Big Brother cruise,
we
which was
did.
actually low key pretty fun.
It was. I had a great time. I got to meet people like you. I got to hang out with Big Brother. I got to meet Kaser. Are you kidding me?
I
And
know.
so, oh my God, Howie is the funniest guy in the entire world.
Howie dancing is like your funny drunk uncle at a wedding. It's
Yes.
so hysterical. Him and Angela have videos.
Oh
They're
my God.
hysterical.
I'm obsessed with Angela. I love her. Cameron, love him. Like I met so many new people. I would love to see Angela on a future season of Traitors. Love to
Yeah,
see her. Like she needs to be there. I know she's probably under CBS contract because she was just on The Amazing Race. But as soon as that's up, Peacock, Studio Lambert, cabbage on that girl because she
please.
is. Love her.
Because
Love her.
she's a mix of gamer and housewife, basically.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Real Housewives of Utah, or wherever she's from. Yeah, they
Yes.
had a
Yeah.
Housewives in Utah, Utah, don't they?
I think they do, and they need to put her on it.
They
Yeah.
do 100%.
So, with the Big Brother season casting right now and coming up in this summer, what are you hoping to see as a fan for like cast or theme or any twists? What are you hoping to see?
Can I say this? This is probably
Yeah.
like not, but that whole Mystere, Hotel Mystere, that was a
Mm.
Traitors ripoff, and you know it. They
It
were
was.
cabbaging on Traitors' glory, is what they bring in Rachel Riley, who was on Traitors, by the way. They knew what they were doing. But anyways, besides the point. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was obsessed with Big Brother. I watched it religiously. I think season 17 is when I stopped watching religiously. I
Okay.
watched here and there, and I would keep up with the live feeds, obviously, every year. I went back to season 20 and watched it because it was a phenomenal season. Um, Season 21, I watched it. And then the season that Angela was on, I watched it. The others, and then obviously I watched Rachel last season because she's like my best friend. But like, obviously, like the other seasons, though, they're very like I don't know like the cast to me and I hope Traders never does this, but I feel like the cast for Big Brother the past little bit, the new era Big Brother is just so lackluster. They're so boring. It's all a big kumbaya love fest, and the same thing with Survivor these days. And so that's what I'm saying about people like Michael Rappaport. I would rather watch you be entertaining than watch you hug and kiss everyone on the cheek. I don't care about that stuff. And so Big Brother just it's so I remember was it 22 was their all stars? Like some of the cast were
Mm.
joking saying it was a small stars. I couldn't
Yes.
agree more. Couldn't agree more.
Yes.
But yeah, so I'm hoping that Big Brother just finds dynamic personalities. Like because the cast just the pretty models I can't get behind these cast. I
I
can't.
know. No, I know.
You know, it is what it is. I don't have
I
any people
agree.
in the new era Big Brother fandom except for Angela and Cameron, so I can say that without hurting any friends' feelings. But yeah, so
Yeah, with
old school all the way. Yeah.
the people who know we love them, they know. It's fine.
Yeah.
We're not talking about you. Um, but no, I know what you mean. Like it's never going to be, season 8, Evil Dick, season
Oh my
10,
God.
Keisha's birthday. It's never going to be
Never.
that,
Oh my, like I
sadly.
remember like Janelle
Excuse
and
me.
Bone, he's like, you polyester hair, like cussing her, like they're icons, like
Bo
that
did
doesn't
that to
happen
me.
anymore.
He did that to me on the cruise. He grabbed my braid, and that's what he did, unprompted, mind you. And I go, "Can you do that again? But can I record it?" Love
I love
him.
that. And like
Uh,
even like you said, Evil Dick, like we had Jen. Like Jen was iconic.
yes.
Crying over her picture on the memory wall.
Yes.
Oh, like, I'm telling you, like the old school players were just it. Like they were
Yeah.
it. Like I would love to see Jen on Traders too, by the way.
I
Like I love
know.
Big Brother Jen. So
Yeah. Who else from Big Brother do you want to see on Traders any upcoming
oh
season?
gosh. Now listen, I would like to see Dr. Will. I know he's probably I can't imagine
Oh,
they've not asked him yet. He's probably said no every time.
yes.
He was on Deal or No Deal Island, which is Peacock. So I'm assuming there's been that talk. Um, but I just love him. You know what I mean? I love him. I think he's great. Like I said, Jen is always fun. Angela is super entertaining. Cameron is like a guy's guy, low key, that would fit in with everybody. I could see him being the Dylan Efron type. Yeah, like I would love to see them. Jeff and Jordan specifically, like I would like to see them on a season together. It would. I don't think she would come back to reality TV, but I love them. Kaser. There's just yeah, I would love
That's
to
a
see
good
them.
list. That's a great list. Would you ever play again if they called you? Even if, hold on, there's a new civilian traders coming that they're starting with Alan still
Yes,
hosting. What are your
yes.
thoughts on that? And if you ever were to play traders, would you do either one?
I am very excited about the civilian season, and like, I'll say this. I start every sentence with that. I'll say this. I'll say this, but I will say this. Like, listen to
We
me.
know
I'll
he's
say this.
going to say something,
Yeah, I'm
everyone.
gonna say it. I'll say this about the civilian season. We obviously can't compete with the people like Kate Chastain and Brandy Glanville in season one. Like they're professionals at this. That's how they make their living. That's what they do. They are Bravo celebrities. Their job, their income, their family depends on them being dramatic TV. You know what I mean? So obviously they are skilled veterans. You look at the gamers like Rachel Riley and like Sari Fields and Cody Calafieri. They have done this before. You know what I mean? So they get to go home and say, the next time I do this will be different. The next time I do this, I'll remember to do this. I'll remember to do this. I'll play this way. So they had that upper hand on us. But honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like we carried our own. I do. Like those first four episodes that I was in, I was the storyline. And I'm not just saying this because it's me. I know that sounds borderline narcissistic, but as a viewer from home, I was cringy as all get out. But baby, I own it and I loved watching me. I did. Like I was so entertaining. And like Christian, like, oh my God, the chaos. Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? He was so unhinged. And like, even Andy, like, Cherie was phenomenal. Her win was iconic. But had she won against someone like Ari, or had she won against someone like Kate, it goes back to what I was saying about the supporting characters. I don't think her win would have been as iconic, and I don't think the show would have kicked off the way that it did had she won against someone other than Andy. That emotion, that just complete blindside, that betrayal, that was iconic. That moment was it. And let me just say, we won them that first Emmy. The first Emmy that Traitors ever got was for casting. The celebs are cast by a booking agent. The casting director who got that was the one who found us. So we got that first Emmy for them. So to everyone who talks about how it's so much better with just celebs, we got them their first Emmy. And I do think, like, and I know that there is talk of all stars and everything, and I genuinely feel like they should bring some of the newbies back. I think they should look at the newbies for a potential all stars. And I will say this again, I will say this again with complete confidence. If you were to ask me to rank the top 10 men and the top 10 women, or top 10 contestants, period, I know there's some non binaries, but I would 100% rank me and Christian in the top 10 most entertaining men. Now, were we strategic? Could I ever win? Absolutely not. I don't have a strategic bone in my body, but I'm entertaining. I can bring the drama, and I 100% right hand to God, I can say with certainty, I would rank me and Christian in the top 10 most entertaining men. Um, and it's like, if you look back at other, like I remember as Parvati came back for fans versus favorites the first time, it was an uproar. Why are we bringing this girl back? That solidified her as an icon. Kelly Wentworth was a pre-jury boot her first time around. When she made it on second chance, they're like, why are we bringing this girl back? She went home like fifth. You know, why is she here? She is a legend. She solidified herself when she returned as a legend. Boston Rob pre-jury boot his first time around. Why was he on All Stars with people like Ethan and Tina? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. He is now like the most iconic reality TV star known to man. So I do think if Peacock doesn't cabbage on those 10 civilians and make them their own, like CBS, they took a shot on Wentworth. They took a shot on Parvati. They took a shot on Boston Rob. You know what I mean? And they are now like Mount Rushmore. Like they are solidified as legends in the reality TV world because they were given a second chance. Peacock can take those people and mold them. They can take someone like me. They can take someone like Christian. They can take someone like Andy. Um, even Bam, for example, he didn't have a lot of airtime on our season, and he went home. I think it was episode 2, but he is the most likable guy. You know, if he had made it a little bit further, he would have been our Dylan Efron. He would have been our Rob Roush or whatever his last name is, however you pronounce that. And so I
Get it?
do think they should take a chance on us. I really do
Yeah.
with an All Stars. To say that I will come back 100%. My bags are already packed. I would love to come back, whether it be a civilian season or a all vet season, whatever. I would 100% come back. So excited for the civilian season. I think one of the things that you get with celebs is the dramatics, and a lot of them are fighting for screen time. I know you talk about Chat
Hmm.
BCC all the time on your videos. I remember seeing there, maybe it's you that posted when they were talking about how the money is not a deciding
Yeah.
factor for them.
Hmm.
Um, and that's the difference in a lot of these newbies. I work a 9 to 5. I work at the food stamp office. I investigate fraud at the food stamp office. I
Stop
don't,
it.
that's my job, And so it's like I talk to
That's
people all the time, and like Amanda, for example, she's a nurse. Like we
yeah.
have 9 to 5 jobs. We
Yeah.
need this money. That money is a motivating factor for us. So you do get more authentic emotion. You do get relatable personalities, so the average viewer in the Midwest in Topeka, Kansas, watching on a Thursday night when their kids go to bed, they relate to someone like me. You know what I mean? They related to someone like Brittany Haynes, her first season around on Big Brother. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like Peacock has the ability to take these people, us newbies from season 1, as well as these new civilians, and mold them. You know what I mean? Rob
Yeah.
Roush was a first timer on Love Island. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bergie was a first timer on Love Island. Um, he was also a Dairy Queen manager. You know what I mean? Like people love the people that we can relate to. And so I'm very excited to see this civilian season, because I think one thing that lacks with celebs or reality TV vets, I feel like celebs just thrown around too loosely. I mean, no one's Angelina Jolie. Let's be honest. Like
No, I
we're
know.
yeah, we're reality TV vets. We're not celebs. But I
Uh,
think the thing that's missing is there's no relatability. Like
mhm.
they know that a housewife doesn't need this money. So there's no relatability. There's funny. There's humor. There's oh, I
Mhm.
love this person. There's good memes, but for the most part, I think the civilian season will do very well.
I agree. I'm excited for it, especially with Alan still being the
Yes,
host.
me too.
I couldn't picture it with a different host.
Yeah, me
Um,
neither.
Michael, is there anything else you want to talk about or anything you have going on that you want to share?
Um, no, not really. I can't think of anything.
I'm so excited that we got to talk. I want to talk more. We can talk about the reunion if you want when that happens.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anytime. Question for you: who do you think will
Yeah.
win? How do you think the rest of
You
the
know
season's
what?
going to go?
I really honestly think that Rob is going to win. And I think he's going to somehow get rid of Eric. I don't think
Listen,
Eric's winning with him.
I don't think he is either. I can't
Okay.
imagine that he is. And I think Eric comes across like a very naive guy, and I say that,
Hmm.
but I also came across very naive. Okay. Like I'm
Oh,
not being critical of people. I was the same way. I owned my cringe. But Eric comes across very naive. I can see him using Eric to the final fire of truth. And I can also see
yeah.
him taking Mara. Um,
Mhm.
and maybe Mark. I think those will be our four if I was guessing. Listen, and I swear to God, if I'm spot on, I do not know spoilers. I'm just like clearly just a fan. But I
Did you
imagine
do a
that those
draft?
four, yeah, like promise. I imagine that it'll be those four, and then it'll be a situation similar to Suri where
Yeah.
he then turns on Eric and gets rid of Eric. And because I think Mora is going to trust him no matter what. And so I think it'll be him and Mora at the end, and he's got it in the bag.
Do you think Maura thinks it's him at all, or she's just blinded?
And again, this comes back to based on what we see in the edit. I'll answer it based on what we see in the edit. No, I
Okay.
don't. I don't think anyone thinks
Yeah.
it's him. I really don't. You know? But I
Not
mean,
that
it could be
sweet
a
boy.
situation. Yeah, it could be a situation where if he does come out the winner, we didn't see it because it didn't matter. She could
Mhm.
be this. I love her, by the way. I love her accent. Like,
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
saw a
yeah.
meme. Oh gosh, I saw a meme earlier today, and it was like tinking or what was
Tinking.
barely tinking or not tinking at all or something. And it killed me. It took me out because
Kink.
obviously
I
I have a
kink.
very yeah, yeah. I have a very thick accent, obviously. And so whenever I got out there, we each had production with us. Like we had like a what do they call it, like a researcher or a runner, like a little production member, basically making sure that like the integrity of the game was never compromised, that when the cameras weren't
Yeah.
rolling, we weren't talking. Listen, and let me tell you something, that they run a well-oiled machine
Oh
behind the
yeah.
scenes. Like the integrity of the game is very well protected. I know there was talk. I think maybe it was Lisa or Candace. Somebody did a podcast and said they thought that Rob told Colton. No, I can tell you right now that did not happen. I'm not even there, and I can tell you it didn't happen. I remember one time we were eating, and at this time, if you watch back on season one, the early episodes, you don't see us eating, and it's because that was that downtime. They talk about on Survivor a lot when they're going to challenges. You're there, but you can't talk. It was the same
Yeah.
way whenever we would eat, we couldn't talk because there was no cameras rolling. And I
Wow.
remember one time we were talking about just something that happened like in a challenge. It wasn't even anything like game related. And a lady comes over and she's like, Michael, you can't talk about that. I'm like, what am I talking about? She's like, I can hear you, bro. And I'm like, oh, sorry. But anyway, so I say all that to say I have a very
Wow.
thick accent, obviously. And so there was a researcher that we had. She was sweet as pie. I love her. But she would always try to talk like me. And she's like, Michael. And I was like in her thick country accent. And so I would like talk back to her in like a British accent. And one day I went to my confessional interview and they were talking to me and it just blurted out. I was like, well, today was fun. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Please don't take offense to that. I mean, it was a term of endearment. It was so embarrassing. But like, I would find myself trying to talk British all the time. I'm terrible at it too, by the way. But
I
yeah.
can't either.
So
I can't do any accent.
yeah. But yeah,
I wouldn't even
there's
try.
yeah,
Oh
so
my
I'm
gosh.
excited to see the season play out. I'm very
Mhm.
excited. I know, I think it was The Sun, but they're not a very credible news source, are saying that an All Star season is coming. We obviously know that a civilian season is coming. I personally
Yeah.
think it's too soon for an All Stars. I mean, we've only
Yeah.
had 4 seasons, but whatever happens with the show, I love it. I love the concept of it. It's such a fresh, new reality show.
Yes.
I love the voting to your face. There's no getting out of it.
Yeah.
And so it's such a good show. I'm so grateful that I got the opportunity to be a part of it. And I love watching every season. I'm obsessed with it.
I love that. I love it too. It's really a good show. So good.
Yeah,
Thank you, Michael.
you're very welcome.
Have a good night.
You too. I will see you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.